So the Astartes II trailer has dropped.
Yep, and that means Syama Penderson is no longer trapped in the basement.
It's not as if we're not going to see any comments to that effect.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I can understand when some people say that he's not going to have the creative freedom that he wants because we've already seen an edit.
Yeah, and when we showed this off in the shot that it was originally the Lamenters fighting the orcs and then they switched it out with the Mortifactors.
Yeah, which is ironic because the Mortifactors are the people who wouldn't work with the Lamenters because of superstition.
Exactly.
And it's like, is this a meta comment?
This a betrayal to all.
But it is a bit of an unusual choice because when you take a look at it, the Lamenters are one of the biggest fan favourites. It's not as if the Mortifactors don't have their fans, but they're not...
They're pretty iconic, the Lamenters. People go crazy for the Lamenters.
And I don't think that the Mortifactors have a bigger fan base than the Lamenters.
You guys can discuss in the comment section.
But we're going from a very heroic chapter to one that is literally worshipping death. So we're going to probably be expecting some more brutal sort of stuff.
Oh, I mean, just take a look at the trailer, man.
Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying, when you have the Lamenters as a protagonist versus the Mortifactors, you've got to expect an increase in level of brutality. But you've also got to expect that they might not lose like the Lamenters would.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the Lamenters are always facing some sort of bad luck.
Yeah.
But they're pushing forward anyway, but with the Mortifactors, it'll be quite different.
And I think that might be one of the reasons why they changed it, because they thought, how do you show cosmically bad luck without sort of making the Space Marines look bad?
Yeah, fair enough.
But Syama has shown that he really likes this element of mystery, so with the Scythes of the Emperor, we might be seeing something about the Pharos Beacon.
I don't know this Pharos Beacon person.
Oh, there's so much lore to unpack. So basically, it was the thing in the Horus Heresy, and it might have been the thing that got the Tyranids to come to us, and basically, that's why there's a lot there.
Okay, it's Tyranid involved. Tyranids are involved. Okay, got it.
Yeah, a bit more than that, but let's just drop it there, otherwise we won't get to everything else.
Yeah, okay.
But it also leads to more questions than answers, because one of the other things that we saw when it came to his chapter, the Retributors, we saw a Chaos Cult, and it doesn't seem like it's a continuation of the Orb story, does it?
Oh, no. That's why I was very upset.
Yes, I'd noticed this.
I was like, what is this? I thought this would be a continuation of the story.
I remember when you watched the Astartes the first time, you're like, where's the rest of it?
Yeah, I was like, where's season 2? Yeah, and then you told me Astartes 2 dropped. I was like, girl, it's 3 a.m. Let's go watch this. And then we go watch it. And I was like, stole my purse. Stole my purse. And I was like, okay, so is this a game? Is this a TV show? What's going on?
No, it's a TV show.
Oh, it's a TV show.
We know it's a TV show, so remain calm, chill.
All right.
But I can see how you had some worries when it came to that, because you're like, where's the Lamenters? Where's the orb thingy?
Yeah.
Where's my guy without the arm?
Yeah, it's like everything's on a cliffhanger now. What is this? But I guess that's great marketing as well, forces you want to watch it. And we talked about how fans would now really need to consider getting onto Warhammer Plus.
Which has been a bit of a problem for Warhammer in of itself, or Games Workshop, because it seems as if not enough people have gotten onto Warhammer Plus. They put a lot of work into it, but I think until you have something like this, you can't sell it in the same way.
Yeah, Astartes project was so good that I could easily, even myself included, easily jump on the train of Warhammer Plus just to watch the full thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is what they're hoping for.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's why they trapped him in the basement. And now they've released him to the public once more.
Well, speaking of that, we should actually talk about the other things. So at the same time that it was released by Warhammer, it was also released by his own production house called Digital Bone Studios.
Yes, correct. And we've seen this, and he's got some other projects that he's working on too.
Which does lead to the question, okay, is this essentially him paying off his debts to GW because he was in a bit of...
a tight situation.
Yeah,
with them.
there was a lot of questions with that, and essentially, do we think that he's done this, we're going to see this, and that will be the end of it, and we're not going to see any more Astartes after this?
Yeah, but I mean, GW being GW, I feel like they have a death grip a bit. Like, you know, once you get the talent...
Take a look at it. He's got 2 upcoming projects. Yatra, which is combined with Weta Workshop, and Weta Workshop, of course, worked with Lord of the Rings, so I think maybe that's how he got that sort of connection there, because, of course, Games Workshop and Lord of the Rings are still working together. But the other one is his own personal project, and it seemed as if that is his way to reclaim some of his freedom, because remember, he was making an extraordinary amount of money on Patreon before Games Workshop came in, and I can only imagine that since I mean, like, we do joke about how it's locked in the basement, however, he wasn't really seen or heard of for a very long time, and there's a reason why that was a meme.
Yeah, exactly. So now he's working on Project Valhalla and Yatra, and I'm just very curious where he has the time to come up with all these productions on top of working with GW.
And that's my point. I don't think he is still working with GW. That's what I was trying to say before.
Okay.
I think that essentially he's like, these are done. I've paid my debt. I'm leaving.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, if I were him, I'd probably do something similar as well. I mean, his own stuff, his own visions have attracted so many people. People are watching because it's his stuff. It's not because it's
and it's very sad, because I think that if they had maybe... Well, we don't know yet, but I think if they had essentially given him wings rather than shackles, I think that we could have seen some absolutely beautiful things by him.
Probably so. Like, I feel like if it was reached out to him as like a sort of an offer of partnership, rather than like, you stole our IP, I better snag you up before you
and I think that there's fair reason to think that that's essentially what GW did, because they shut down a whole lot of other people at the exact same time, and they're like, don't use our name, you can't say Warhammer, and I'm like,
and you can't do it in this style, you can't showcase this.
And it's like, guys, just so you know, Warhammer is a generic term. Do not try that in a court of law. You're not going to do very well. It got really burnt with Chapter House Studios, and they were very lucky that certain YouTubers didn't take them to court.
Yeah, I bet. Not that we hate GW, we just feel like this needs to be pointed out.
Yeah, and I think that when we take a look at things logically, I don't think that there's going to be an Astartes 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to disappoint the fans as well, because like, even if he did do it on his own, you'll probably have the same issue again and inviting the Aya.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that is because of what we set up before, because obviously they put some sort of controls on him because they removed the Lamenters, replaced them with the Mortifactors. Okay, I don't think that's going to be really upsetting for him, maybe. I don't know, because it depends on how attached he was to this thing. But let's take a look at it. It's not as if he's like a crazy, super passionate artist that like created a whole movement. Like that. This is not... Artists are not known for being super rational, and some of the times they're like, this was my baby, you destroyed it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I really hope that, you know, maybe he might come back after some years of doing other things, but let's just be glad that we're getting...
something. Yeah.
I really hope that we're actually wrong and we do see Astartes 3 after this, but based off what we've seen...
Yeah, there's a high chance it may not continue past this point.
So if you're looking at getting Warhammer Plus for the next year, just get it for the next year. Don't get it for the year after that.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, keep those brushes wet. Bye-bye.